This is the meeting of the Upton Cultural Council for Tuesday, February 18th, 2025. And let's get a roll call of members. I'll just read off. Absent today is Shelley Glassman and Kate Baden. All right, Robin Jokula.
Here.
Marie Kitchen. Here. Jennifer Conrad's here. Lynn Haggerty.
But I'm not a voting member, so I can't.
Oh, you're just, well, you're
Legally
confusing me.
not,
So
we're the
are you
audience.
just a member of the public then?
I'm a member of the public.
Okay, so then we have 5 members. So you're saying we need 4 out of 5 to vote on anything?
Right.
Or
but
is it
you are-
3?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
It's a small decision. Okay, all right, we'll have to check that because, is it a majority or is it with how much is the quorum when you have 5 members?
I'll text Denise and ask her.
Okay, and we have members of the public, Megan Ronzio and Lynn Haggerty. Okay, all right, has everybody had a chance to review the agenda?
Excuse me.
All right, anything, well, and if there's anything that needs to be added, we can cover it. We'll hold off on a vote to approve it until we confirm whether we can do that. And same for the minutes, but does anybody have any changes to the minutes from the January 21st, 2025 meeting? No. No. Right. I do not see any either. Okay, treasurer's report. I just emailed it to everyone. So it looks like we need to bring an HDMI cable here to set up a laptop for meetings. I think we had the benefit of someone leaving one in here before. We just hooked up to that. So note to self, bring an HDMI cable. We have lots of cables.
Yeah.
All right, so I emailed the treasurer's report to everyone. There's not a lot of change, but Robin, do you just want to go through it? You can use my laptop over here if you want. Can you just grab it?
So there is no change to the treasurer's report from last month's meeting. We have paid out all of last fiscal year's grants. We have received a request for reimbursement from one grant that I'll be processing this week. We do have the $7,100 deposited into our account. Jen confirmed that with our town accountant. So we have to spend in our local fundraising account, we have an ending balance or a balance right now of $514.18. And we also have the interest set off to the side there of $209.26. And Jen, you confirmed that that is not part of the $7,100.
No, I confirmed with the Mass Cultural Council that it's not included in the allotment of grant money. So they said 7,100 is a straight allocation. Nothing is, there's no, the interest doesn't factor into it. So I don't know if that answers the question that you raised, Lynn, last time about the interest.
Actually, it does because the way I was figuring it is the interest, the compiled interest that we got was on the basis of the year ending 24 ending because it ends in July, if that makes any sense. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
with
June 30th. Yep.
Right. So if the interest, and they're accounting for it when we're filling out the form. So it's good to know it's separate and then that's more funding.
For us.
Okay,
Yep.
good. I didn't
Yeah,
get
I mean,
anything from,
Didn't make sense to me that they would have to include that because I think it would get really unwieldy across, 351 municipalities if they had to take that into account. But it's also our money, it's not just the state's money, it's our money too.
Right.
So, yeah, so like as a underlying concept, that's what made sense to me. Okay.
all right,
All right.
I'm gonna call Denise because she didn't answer me. So I'll be back in a minute.
Oh, okay. She's upstairs, or was upstairs. Okay. All right, I think that's everything for the treasurer's report, as one grant coming in. We'll talk about the other scheduled grants coming up. Okay, just some administrative items. I don't know if anyone else has received an email that you have to complete your conflict of interest training.
Yeah.
I did it last week. It's actually, I have to say, it's very well done. It's very straightforward, clean cut, it's very understandable.
And that's every 2 years, right?
Yeah, I think it's every 2 years that you have to do it. So mine, I was due for it myself, and so I did it. And yeah, they'll send you like a little certificate via email to prove that you did it and you just didn't fake it. So you have to go all the way at the end. So if anyone else has gotten that email, just, be sure to wrap it up and get it done. It takes about an hour altogether. One thing I wanted to just talk about, and I'm glad Megan's here for this, is that on our UCC Google Docs, we have like two sets of documents. And one is, there are two buckets of documents, and they kind of cover a lot of the same things. And I'm trying to figure out how we can pull them all together and synthesize it into one large, it's not that large, but one set of documents, because I have a whole bunch of, the agendas and the minutes to put into those files, but I wanted to wait until we were able to kind of figure this out. So maybe it's just a matter of, me sitting down and trying to pull them all together. The problem is I didn't author a lot of those folders. So I'm wondering if we need to have that person, whoever's done it, help us do that. I mean, Alice created a lot of the folders, but I think all have access to them, but not being the creator, I'm not sure if we can merge all this together into one set of documents. Am I making sense?
Mm-hmm.
One set of folders and files that we can go into, and that would make it easy for anyone else who's a member to go in and just add something in. For example, Kate, if she wanted to put the minutes in there. So, because I'm a little backed up on adding, our agendas, minutes, and treasurer's reports because of this. So, does that make sense?
Yeah.
It does, yeah. And I want to, my memory is it's got some holes in it, but I want to say Alice did she pass most of it to Kate, or did she open it up just for all of it? I can't remember. I'll take a look at it as well.
Yeah,
But
it's something
Yeah.
I want to, kind of wrap up, in a few months before we get to the end of our fiscal year, so that we're not starting to get, this big backup. Plus, we have, we have grant, our grant spreadsheets and things like that in there. And, it'd just be nice for everyone to be able to easily reference documents that are out there, because they're all there. All of our information is there. It's just, I find I struggle going back and forth between them, because it's as if we have two separate file cabinets, and some are here and some are here, and some are kind of cover the same grounds, of topics. So, that's just something to, that I can probably take a look on it when I have time.
Yeah,
try to synthesize it all together.
I'm just looking at my my cultural council drive, because it's going to look a little bit different for each of us.
See what I mean? There's like there's two sets. I mean, I'll look it up right now.
I don't know if I have. I think I have to do some cleaning on my own as well. Like, I have it all organized into fiscal years, and then I have business cards. Yeah.
See, there's one called UCC, shared with me, and there's another called Upton Cultural Council, spelled out. So I have two of those major files.
I see what you mean. Yeah. Yep. Oh, okay. Yes. Some of it's Alice's. I think I had put Alice's all separate, and then I had made my own. Not the same, but just stuff that I used most of the time. So, yeah.
There's maybe a way, I can save them under my name, and then, so there's a little bit of overlap between them, and I just want to kind of clean it up so we can, see, and it's like you're kind of going back and forth between files. on
Yeah,
various-
and some of them I see, yeah, like I can't even share some of them. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
yeah. So I wonder if we have to get Alice in there to share them, but also make us all or pass on ownership. I'm not really, I don't really know. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good,
Okay.
that'd be a good project.
Yeah.
Let's figure that
I
out.
don't think it's a big haul. I think it's just a matter of pulling it all together into one
Sure.
So
database.
I'm the author of all the treasurer's report, and I shared it with Robin and made her an editor. And whenever I shared with Megan, I made her an editor as well. So
Mhm.
I think those documents you can like easily get into. Like if Robin has, I turned everything over that's why there's separate tabs in the sheets for at least the
Mhm.
finances. And then all our meeting minutes were posted, all our agendas are posted up to date on the town website. So that's another file cabinet, right?
Yep.
Okay, and let
Yeah,
me
I
just
think
say,
I think a
we're-
lot of
we're
it is
updated
just
on the
it's
town,
with
yeah.
Alice. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
Okay.
don't I have a folder that's, this is the new logo,
See.
this is the old logo, this is the tablecloth.
Right,
I've got, and
right.
probably like the rest of you.
Yeah, I mean, just be nice to have it all in one place and then maybe like organize it a little bit in terms of like, topics. So, I mean, it's like I
Yeah.
said, it's all there. It's just,
Yeah.
I think it needs a little, editing. All right, so just to keep in mind, like I said, well, I'll try to take a look at it too. All right, I think we had resolved all our administrative things. Anybody else has something?
I have
Okay,
one more thing. I did
Sure.
just speak to Denise,
yeah,
and you don't have a quorum because you're like I said, the committee was formed of 7 members.
Mhm.
Yeah, so at 3 you don't have a quorum, at 4 you do, and even at 5 your quorum still stays at 4. So what
Okay.
she said is that don't take any official actions, but of course you
Yeah.
can still meet, and so you can't take any votes that affect, money, the meeting minutes, just push those off till next time, and then you're good to go. So,
Mhm. Okay. So
You're
4
all
is the
set.
minimum no matter what.
yep, 4 is the
Okay.
minimum no
Or no
matter
matter
what.
what. Okay, good.
Thank you, Lynn.
I know it changes all the time depending on, how many. Oh, so we were set up originally, or the town set up originally to have 7 members to be, okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
All right, now. All
Like
righty,
the
good.
quorum for trust funds whereas only 3 of us elect,
Yeah.
commissioners, the quorum is 2. It's got to be, because there's only 3. So it all works kind of a little bit different. I hope that's helpful.
Yes, that is. Okay, so we'll just hold off on voting on the agenda and the minutes till next time. So.
I
everybody
have
will-
one more thing, and then I'll be quiet for a while.
Oh,
So
stop.
I'll try. So I sent, this is kind of directed towards Robin. I sent the second part of the treasurer's report like cleaned up, so it's just 2025. I add another column for you.
Yeah.
The other thing is that every year at our place on the town website, I've posted like these were the grants that are awarded in this year. So it changed from year to year, and it's just a listing, an Excel spreadsheet of these are the grants, the number of
Right.
grants, what they're for, and the amount of money.
Does that need to be done for fiscal?
Yeah,
year?
so
So how
if
do you
you-
actually do that?
Yeah, what I did was I just copied the whole thing over again, deleted, the unnecessary information. So I sent you one copy that has just, a breakdown of, did you get the last thing I sent you?
Yeah.
So you're just gonna delete a couple of columns just hide a couple of columns or make another copy and
Yeah,
send it
I-
over to Denise and
Denise,
Kathleen to post.
okay.
So then everybody sees this is what we awarded this year. And then usually, like in years past, Megan's done a press release. So maybe somebody might think about that. And she could
Mhm.
tell you more about that because she's she's the writer, not me.
I have
Down
the
comes
templates
water.
all saved. I just changed the dates and copy and paste the different grants. So, yeah.
Okay. Where the press release that goes to who? Because we don't have like a town paper anymore, so
The Mendon Upton Free Press.
the Free Press, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
And
Yeah.
it goes to the Cultural Council as well, the
yeah.
Mass Cultural Council.
I can even send it actually if you want me to.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, to the Free Press. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great, thanks.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they're
So-
not always super responsive. I've had to send press releases to them for other things. And sometimes it takes a couple months because they only have one issue a month. But
So I think
But
it's
they-
every other month or something.
yeah, yeah, it's not a lot, but
okay,
Yeah.
I'll put,
yeah.
Yeah, Megan's gonna send it out because she
Okay.
has a template. So do you need me
Yeah.
to send it to, can you send it to me and I'll send it to Mass Cultural Council? Unless.
Yep.
Or you're.
Yep.
It's a
Oh,
vote.
I can do that too. I don't even know who to send it to at Mass Cultural Council.
You know what, send it to me because,
Okay.
just to keep, I communicate with him. His name's Greg.
Okay.
Terrell.
Perfect. Yeah.
so you're gonna notify Mass Cultural, do you want Shelley to notify the Mendon Upton Free Press?
Megan's gonna do it.
Megan's gonna do that, okay.
All
Yeah.
right. All right.
Yeah, and if you want, in years past, I've taken that and sent it over to the Milford Patch
Mm-hmm.
for
Okay.
them to post.
Will they do it?
They have yeah, I have an account. I have a free account, so yes.
Oh, okay. Now, do you have to do it because you have an account? I don't have an
Yep.
account. Okay.
Yep.
You want to do it then? Send
Yeah,
it
after
to,
you guys get it all squared away, just send it to me and I'll post it to the Milford Patch.
okay.
Okay.
Sure fits you. All right, sounds good. All right, so grant updates, we've touched on a few things through the treasurer's report. We received the grant funds of $700 into our account. That was last week. So apparently everything went smoothly with our submitting the, the annual report. So the
Yay.
small, yeah, I know. All right, so the Small Stones Art Festival was January 25th to February 2nd. And Marie went, so tell us about it, Marie. I wish I could have gone. My dad was in the hospital though. Literally the day after our last meeting, my dad's like health went haywire, so.
Oh, I'm
He's-
sorry.
Okay, he's back home now, but unfortunately I didn't get to go to the Small Stones Art Festival because I was occupied. So how was it?
Top notch.
It was? Ooh,
Yes.
Good,
I
good.
just,
great.
there's a lot of local art in there and the print that I wanted was already sold, but it's, set up in the barn in the Grafton. I don't remember what the name of that place is. Is it in the same spot all the time every year?
I think
I know.
so.
I don't know.
There's
Yeah.
I want to say lifestyle, is it down here? It's really beautiful inside there. It's inside the barn and, like I said, it's well attended by, what do you call it? Volunteers who help you out and, it's free, of course. And what can I say? It's really worth it.
Was there a good turnout when you were there?
I went during the day, so I kind of sneak in there
Mhm.
when very few people are in there, but there was a lot of people that were. Maybe a dozen were in there at the same time as me, and I went in there about 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mhm.
And about the same amount were coming in as going out, so,
Hmm.
yeah.
Steady stream.
Yeah.
I mean, it says 182 artists with 544 artworks, so that's pretty large.
Yeah,
Good, yeah.
set up.
What day did you go? Just out of curiosity.
Uh,
Was it a weekday?
yeah, it was probably a Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah,
Probably really busy on the weekend.
I would imagine, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I reposted it, you know, like I try to, you know,
Me too.
yeah, post it on Facebook. So, I mean, it's a good winter thing to do.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I recommend it.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like, you know, from what I looked at it, I mean, it's like really good, not, you know,
Yeah.
hacky stuff at all. So,
And they advertised there was a juror's lecture on the Sunday after the show, or maybe the very last day. And the judges explained to anyone who wants to go how they pick the winners, how they determine the winners. So they have, you know, other events that are tacked on to that. So, no, I didn't get to the lecture, but that was posted as well. So,
mhm. Good.
yeah, it was definitely
And then,
thumbs up.
and I know that, you know, I didn't confirm if they went or not, but I know Tanya from the senior center said that they were gonna be having a van going over, and that the people who'd gone last year really liked it. They didn't have a huge crowd because it was sort of late notice, but she said that people really liked it, so, good. Right. Sounds like a worthy use of our funds.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then this week coming up is the Poop Museum.
Yeah.
So it's tomorrow, I believe. It's on, yes, it's 2/19. I think it's at 6. I believe it starts at 6. Now, unfortunately, I can't go, but if
Oh,
I
I
could
can't
go,
go
I
either.
would go. So my kids would have like loved something like this for sure.
Mine too.
I think it's 6. I'll tell you.
I haven't seen that. I admit I haven't been on Facebook that much, but I have not seen it advertised.
I've seen it.
It's on.
I'm-
library.
Yeah, I shared it.
I've seen.
I don't know. Maybe it just didn't show up. My algorithm's all messed up.
Oh, yeah, I did. I have seen it a couple times on Facebook. And maybe, you
Yeah.
know, let me take a look, because maybe we can all bump it right now and, let's see. Of course,
I
it's gonna
shared
take,
it to friends the other day.
I can't find my.
let me just take a quick look. If not, I'll just look at it
Yeah.
later.
It's not a big deal. I was just surprised because I know I
Yeah.
would definitely like notice it.
Yeah.
So they
I know I
advertised
did.
5 days ago on the Upton
Oh, they have a
Library.
puzzle swap though.
It is 6 p.m.
Yeah, not.
6 p.m.
Oh, here
Okay.
it is. Yeah, yep.
I see it.
Ages 5 to 12.
I mean, I'm sure you could go and observe, just say, hey, you know, I'm in the cultural council.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I can't make it anyway. I have a scout thing. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
Studied poop for years. Yeah.
Just January 15th, is that what you have?
Mhm.
It was posted on ours on January 15th.
The Upton Town Library Facebook page. They
The
posted.
library did, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, the library.
Somebody must have
5
shared
days
it, because
ago.
You
So-
shared it and then I shared it.
Yeah.
I shared it again.
Okay.
Just posted it.
But my Facebook's all goofed up.
Well, it's mostly ads that you get nowadays, it seems. Yeah, and they also
Okay,
did it
video.
February 5th and January 15th.
And share with.
So yeah, if anybody can, if you're able and you can just run over and check it out.
Okay,
Wednesday.
You get some pictures. Get some pictures.
Yeah, get a photo.
Okay.
I know people had to register for it, so I wonder if it, sold out. I can ask how they did.
I may try to go
I'll
tomorrow.
try to jump on over there. I've got some library things to do.
Yeah.
My vacation week,
Yeah.
so.
I'm sure they'd let us check
Maybe
it
you
out,
know.
since we paid for it.
Wish it was fun. I'm on vacation,
Yeah.
starting.
I need to go back to my taxes. I got this.
Oh, guys, hang on. I
Set.
just saw on Facebook 5 days ago, it filled up 5 days ago and there's a wait list.
Oh, so we didn't need to bump it then. Okay.
Yeah,
That's great. Oh, I love
that's
that.
awesome.
I'm bringing to turn people on.
You cannot see the poop. Okay. Great, so that's great. So I'm looking forward to a report on the Poop Museum. That's hilarious. All right, next up, fundraising. We don't really have anything to report. Like I said, I still haven't done that. I'll set up it, mostly because we've had this kind of Google Docs, thing that, we need to fix. But I'll set up a, a document that just tracks attendance and fundraising as well. And we'll start with, our, what do you call it? An inventory on our towels. So we'll start fresh from there because all our other stuff, and our, and coasters too. So just to keep an inventory of what we've got, it's kind of formalize it a little bit, but. All right, so, but nothing to report on fundraising at the moment.
Can I ask, because I wasn't here at the last meeting,
Mhm.
I know there was discussion about future attendance at the United Parish.
Oh, we did talk about that.
Was there a decision made?
We didn't make it,
Just talk.
we didn't really make a decision. I think it's kind of depends on whether we could get a better spot at the church. And I think I think I told you that just in general.
Yeah,
You
I
should
did.
give
Yeah.
Leanne Lukemeyer at the church the feedback about,
I did.
yeah,
I shared it with her.
Yeah,
because the group is gonna be meeting again,
yeah,
the group that puts the fair together.
yeah.
So I did share that feedback.
Yeah, because I think we did better when we were in the main room.
Yeah.
We were selling glasses, but you and I, Marie and I both thought that the groups around us did not seem to sell a lot.
No, they
Because everybody was in the same boat. Like people walked in, they're like, oh, this looks good. I'll check it. I'll be back. And then people just never came back that way because the exit is really at the other end. People don't really backtrack their way
No.
to the front entrance. They would go out
Right.
the back after meandering through the halls.
Yeah.
So I think that sort of
Yeah.
like hurt us, but anyway, and for the number that we sold, after we have to donate, we donated to the
Right.
basket, plus we have to pay the table fee. I mean, we only made like, $50 or $80 or something.
Yeah.
So I think it's dependent on whether we could get a better spot
Right.
Wait,
and, it's
Could
a
we
nice
ask
day.
the
We-
United
we
Parish to
really
waive
enjoyed
it?
it. I mean, we enjoyed it. You're like the mayor of Upton. You see all these people come in and chat with them. And we met, you meet a lot of people. We met the new is it pastor of the UCC? We met, we met Bernard. So, it's good community building, but
Yeah.
did we make a lot of money? No.
I have a question. I have a
Yeah.
question for Robin. Robin, do you think that you could pitch that where we're, such a tiny nonprofit trying to bring services to the town, that we could do one or the other? We could make the $35 donation rather than the $50 fee, or one or the other,
Yeah.
because it's
Never
more or
hurts
less.
to ask.
Yeah, because
Well,
it's
It's a
financially, it doesn't make
$70 fee
sense.
to
Yeah, 'cause
go.
we're really not, we're not a you're right, we're nonprofit.
We're a
And,
nonprofit.
right, we are
Yeah,
nonprofit.
we're a town.
And most of those vendors are for profit,
Right.
I'm
Mhm.
assuming.
Right,
Probably
exactly.
not all, but
There's a
most.
couple, like the dog treats, that's a nonprofit, but, the pies, that's a nonprofit. But, most people are there because it's their, side hustle or their gig. so,
Right.
Yeah, one or the,
Good
one or the
shot.
other. It doesn't make financial sense for us after we have to make a donation too, so.
Yeah, I think that the committee is meeting, they were supposed to meet this weekend, I believe. And then I think it got postponed because of snow. But I can easily ask that, I can pose that question.
That's a good idea, Lynn.
Mhm. Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, see if we can, like with the Heritage Day, they don't charge us a table fee.
Right.
Because we're a
And I
town,
will-
again, same thing, we're a
I can
town,
mention that, yeah.
yeah, we're a town, organization and not for profit.
We did go last year.
And we were, we
present
did go
last
last year, yes.
Yeah.
Weather was good last year.
Good suggestion, Lynn.
Yeah, good suggestion.
Thank you.
Okay, so anything else on fundraising? No? Okay. All right, so potential programming, let me just jump to mine quickly because I just want to see if this woman got back to me.
You know what, fundraising question.
Oh, go ahead.
I don't want to sound tacky or anything, but these events that we have, like the Spook Museum or some of these other events, is it tacky to sell our towels at those events?
Oh, at our events? I don't don't think, no, I don't think so.
Maybe that
Our
would be an
meetings-
idea to think
When you
about.
say our events,
You mean-
talking about what we're putting on or everything, all the
No, the,
grants we've, I know what
like,
you're
the
asking.
like
but
the Poop
Right.
Museum.
all every grant that.
Oh,
we've
by the way,
awarded,
what
we
about
sell
the-
our stuff?
Is that a conflict, I should say, or is it,
I don't know.
I mean, that's another way that we can raise funds for activities. I mean, the ends justify the means. So I was wondering if you've got people, you know.
Yeah, I think it would have to be the right time and place.
We had a conflict. Matthew didn't want to allow us to, we couldn't do we couldn't advertise about the raffle for the quilt. He
Mhm.
felt that was a conflict, so you could ask again. I mean, technically, we're selling goods to bring more programs to the library.
Yeah.
So whoever's gonna pitch it, that's the, because we used to set up a table at different locations, just like we did, Rob, remember the birding, when we did the
Yeah.
birding? We could have
Yeah,
sold stuff there,
there.
so.
That was our event though, wasn't?
Right, that was our, we brought.
Yeah.
Yeah, but technically, all the events that we bring forward are our events, right? Because we
Yeah,
selected the events
Yeah,
to bring to the community.
right. I could see it being viewed two different ways. One, what
Yeah.
you just said, Lynn, is that we're not selling stuff to make profit. We're selling stuff to bring more programming. So in that respect, I think we could support it. On the other hand, the programming that we're bringing, whether it's our own or grant money that we're granting,
Mhm.
there's not supposed to be a charge to the participants, right?
Right.
So I don't know if there's a little bit of, I'm not quite. sure
Funny
what the-
feeling, yeah.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I feel quite kosher about this. I don't know. I mean, it's worth, has anybody looked into it with Mass Cultural Council to see if it's specifically allowed or not allowed?
No, but if somebody does look into it, can they, I get a
Yeah.
question for them to bring forward. Because this has been
Uh-huh.
weighing on me with other programs in the town that I think these free programs, we should at least bring an item to donate to the food pantries. I'm getting a little concerned with that. So if somebody poses this question, could they bring that up as well? Would that be okay? It's not,
No,
we're
that's a
not
good idea.
doing a profitable endeavor. We're
Food
helping the
pantries
needs of the community.
for where? There's two food pantries in town, right?
One the other folks. These are.
I'm happy, so I'm happy to follow up with Mass Cultural Council on that question
Yeah.
about whether we can set up a for sale table at events. But when you say, what do you want? So Lynn, you want to make what mandatory for them to
No,
bring?
not mandatory, volunteer.
Just
If they
voluntarily.
ask that,
So put an ask in that they bring a food pantry item.
yeah, if that's okay to do, that they bring a
Sure.
food pantry item and
So would we
to
be
any
asking
event.
that, or would the performer be asking that?
no, it'd be the cultural council. It's like the cultural council would like to ensure to get something to the effect that we'd like to ensure that, more of the community, we give back to more of the community and doing this endeavor. We're donating to the food pantries. It's one collective effort. So we would donate it to the community center, to Tanya, and she would disperse the items.
So
You know what I mean?
two questions. One is, would you just do that food pantry or would you want to do the United Parish Food Pantry
No,
as
you
well?
didn't hear me, Robin. Okay, so when there's a collection for the food pantries, like say the VFW does it or whatever, it's dispersed among the 3 food pantries, to my knowledge. So,
Okay,
so you go through the ESS director, Tanya, and they would go to her to have them dispersed evenly.
so she does a collection. Is that like something she does throughout the year? She puts a call out for certain foods or?
Yeah,
Because
because
just
Food
people.
think
pantry in the
it's
community
ongoing.
center,
It's
There's a few
ongoing.
pan- All
Yeah, I
the
should
three
just
food
put it in the-
pantries.
At the church.
What,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was
The
talking.
church
over
is
you.
a separate food pantry.
Okay, wait,
Okay.
because well, yeah, so what are the 3 food pantries? Are there,
There's the
There-
Holy Angels,
right?
United Parish, and the
Yep.
Senior Center.
Okay,
So-
Okay,
And I'll give the example, like when the VFW was collecting food pantry items so they could get the matching grant of 1,500. Those food pantry items got dispersed among the 3 food pantries.
okay.
That's how it usually, to my knowledge, how it
okay,
works.
so here's a question for you. So I'm just trying to understand the logistics of it. So there's an event, let's say the Poop Museum. That's happening tomorrow night. So are we saying that we want the grant recipient to include in their advertising, participants, please bring a food pantry item?
No,
No, what are we
That's
saying?
not
Because
what I'm
I'm.
saying. I'm saying that you ask the Mass Cultural Council if the events, the grants sponsored by the Upton Cultural Council, if there's a way when we put out advertising for the events or whatever, that it could be mentioned. The events are free, sponsored by Mass Cultural, Upton Cultural. If you'd like to bring a food pantry item for donation, if that would be acceptable.
So our Facebook, our social media person would, when they're posting the event on our Facebook page, that's where they would put that in?
Yes, kindly bring a,
Yeah,
And then who's gonna be responsible for taking the food pantry item that's donated to the food pantry? Because not everything happens at the library, right?
I think we should just figure it. One of us could.
we could figure it out. I would volunteer
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we
pick
can
up the
figure out
items,
to
discuss
get
it
it.
Okay.
at time, yeah.
So the question for Mass Cultural Council is, can we request
Mhm.
in our advertising, when we're
Mhm.
promoting the event, if we can request that the participants bring a food pantry item if they're able?
Yes,
That's the question. Okay.
Robin, the only thing I would add to that is just say, 2 of the food pantries in our town are church run. So maybe that
Mhm.
needs to be mentioned.
Right.
Yeah, food will be distributed between 3 to over, yeah.
Churches, yeah.
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 Yeah, yeah, I think it's a good idea, but I guess I have concerns about implementation and also kind of putting that out there to say this is a free event, but it's not really free because we're hoping that you'll bring something. Like kind of putting expectations or qualifications on this free event that we're funding.
Right.
No, and I don't want to be a Debbie Downer or a Scrooge, but I think I just need to sit with this for a minute before I
Yeah.
say it's a great idea, we should do it.
Yeah, let's see if we
no,
can
I,
do
no, I
it legally in the
appreciate
first
that. I'm
place.
bored with it. Yeah.
No, because it's not just the food pantry, right? There's
No,
all
I
sorts
want
of charitable donations that we could be asking people to donate to, and I don't know if that's really,
Yeah,
that's not really
And that-
our,
purview, yeah,
yeah,
it's our purview. And and
No,
obviously I think it would be limited in what kind of events we could even do that. I mean, we're
Yeah.
probably gonna do it like at, the memorial school assemblies or something like
Right.
that. It's just because we need the school would need to handle that.
Right.
So I
right.
think
That's what I'm saying.
I could definitely, see it at certain events, but I think, yeah, it's a great idea though. And
Yeah.
I mean, Lynn, is the food pantry down? Are they,
I see, well, I hear some rumblings of food pantries. I think my main concern, and I'll approach this with the selectmen at some point for for overall the town. I'm concerned with the way things that are going, the loss of funding that may be coming through, that there's going to be a need. And
or loss
Mhm.
of jobs,
Oh, absolutely.
lots of
Yeah.
jobs,
loss of jobs that,
that funding being,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm concerned. So that was
Mhm.
my idea, but you know, everybody think about it and maybe there's a way, a better way. And like I
Well, it
said,
doesn't hurt me to ask. I can certainly
Yeah,
ask.
yeah,
and if they come
definitely
back
ask.
and say, no, you can't do that, then there we go.
yeah,
So,
Yeah,
that's,
I
but
think
It
it,
doesn't hurt to ask.
I know it's a little bit siloed in the way like the food pantries work, here. I mean, it's too bad there's not like, I don't know, an overarching place where, for me, I just put stuff in the little kiosk,
Oh, house,
bar
yeah.
at CC. But, and they, I think they do a good job of posting on their website. This is what I do. I just go on their website and see what the needs are. But I'm not sure everybody does that, and people need to be kind of prompted a little bit as well.
Mm.
So that's the kind of good thing about when you have an event, people bring something, but at the same time, like I agree, it's like putting an ask on people,
Right.
for a free event that
Right.
that you're having.
Right.
The whole point is it's like a free.
Right.
So,
that's true.
so yeah, no, there's definitely some kind of issues, and I think some of it stems from the fact that it's a little decentralized how we do food donations here. And I'm not sure how to address that, except for just giving a lot to one of them, So, all right, well, Robin, see if we can even do this in the first place. Thank you for checking this out. Okay, so let me just see. All right, I was just going to, so we need to report on a couple of things, which are, I want to make sure this woman from I don't think she did get back to me. Let me see. No, so just briefly, because mine is gonna just take a minute. I had reached out to this woman named Lynn Roberts, who is I guess she runs, or I don't think she's the head of it, but I think she works at the Mendon Historical Society. And I had recalled, like in our, social media feed, that they were going to do an Indigenous person presentation at the Historical Society in Mendon, but the person had canceled, and so they were looking for a substitute. So I actually reached out to her, within the last couple of weeks, and asked if she, mentioned, what we're interested in doing, and maybe, she could get back to me on some of the details. But I haven't heard back from her yet. So Messenger is not always the most, the best way to contact someone. So maybe I'll just try to reach out to her again and see, what their program was. Because I know we've been kicking this idea around a long time, and, I think it's, we want to make sure it's well attended and peaceful. But again, it might be something we could do with Nipmuc. I think might be the best, so. One thing I could do is I could reach out to the principal, like John Clements, and ask him, because I know I've known him for a long time through MUF and other things, and my kids going there. So maybe I can just suggest it to him and say, is it something that you guys would want to partner with? Or they could do it and apply for a grant. That might be the easiest way to do it, And that way, going through the school, it's very vetted, it's very, they're gonna have a good sense of, it'll be nice for the whole community to go, but, maybe that's a good way to start.
Well, it's also a way to get Nipmuc in, because they haven't, since I've been on the cultural council, they've never submitted a grant request.
Nipmuc?
I don't think so. I could be wrong about that. But I mean, we consistently get from Memorial, and we've been
I
getting.
think it's fewer. Yeah,
But this might be a nice sort of, in for them to realize that we're here
yeah.
and they can start doing things like
Yeah.
that.
I'm trying to think of the last time we get Memorial, we get NISCO, we get BBT.
Right.
And I'm trying to remember the last time we did a Nipmuc one. They did submit a grant this past year, remember? But it was after the deadline for grants. I mean, the event was actually right around the time of the grant submission, and we never really heard back from them.
Oh, you're
about
right.
it.
Yeah, that was my grant. Yeah.
Yeah. And we never
Yeah, she
heard,
never
and we
got back
never
to
heard
me.
back from them about it, as
No.
to like, oh, maybe they're interested in, and then Darcy Daniels, who had reached out last year, she had, they had, I forget what it was. It was going to not what do you
Oh,
call
I
it?
just got an email
Boys-
from.
They used to call it Boys State and Girls State, but they call it something else now. I forget what it is. But it was like a program that they wanted to go to, and they just wanted funding for, but again, the timing was off and they really needed to apply,
Mhm.
maybe, maybe I check with her and John, just to ask and say, hey, you guys interested in doing something? Because, we've been wanting to like partner on something like that. So, all right, so that was that. And then Marie, you want to tell us about trail talks?
I do. Unfortunately, the current state of our budget has met the DCR. They're having issues.
In the state budget? The state
Yeah,
budget
she
process?
didn't get into it. My
Mhm.
contact got back to me and yeah. They're still really excited about doing a couple of walk and talks at
Mhm.
Upton State Forest. I encouraged, can we do more than one?
Mhm.
And, oh, by the way, how much funding would you require if you need funding?
Mhm.
Because we need to plan. And she said she'd get back to me once they've straightened out things. They might have people that are laid off, I don't know, or funding, I don't know, but they are counting on May, June time period to get walks scheduled. So
Mhm.
she said she'd get back to me as soon as they know something. I told her, I'll come over, meet with a forester and I'll do whatever I have to.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, yeah, as soon as they straighten up, yeah. And see the light of
So
day.
she'll get back in touch.
Yep.
with you.
Yeah.
Once they see
Seems
the
they're
light of
in
day.
flux about, budgeting and so forth.
So they're switching some things around here
Mhm.
and there because of that. So, yeah, it's ugly. It's not good.
Hmm.
But they still love us. They're feeling the love. They'll be here hopefully this summer.
Yeah, that would be great. So like I said, May, June, I think that's kind of the perfect time of year because it's
Yeah.
before it gets really buggy in there.
And I have cases of bug spray. I would be
Yeah,
willing
I mean,
to donate to have this happen. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, that would be great because I think people always like that,
Bring them along. Yeah.
You can bring a dog. I wonder if you're gonna be dog friendly. Maybe not.
I'll see what they're,
Yeah.
Ask the dogs, up to the state forest.
yeah. That's what
Yeah,
they're
you
talking
can have your
about.
dog.
So,
please.
Only well-behaved dogs, right? Like I would be okay, but
Yeah, I'll
you have
find
to
out
pee on
more.
everything, but
Super.
Yeah, it'd be fun. All right, so keep it, let us know when you hear back. I think that sounds really great, and I think it'd be great to have the Friends of the Upton State Forest roped in on it too.
Well, my thinking is, once I figure out which foresters can come here, I'll reach out to all those people. Thank you, Lynn, and then anybody who gave me information on who to look out for. And I told them or shared with them that, once we get this firmed up, I'll reach out to people and groups here and we'll make this happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only question is like, is it gonna cost us anything?
Yes.
And if so, how much?
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, it's at their own budget, so hopefully it's already covered under the state.
Yeah,
So,
Right.
yeah.
right. No, so that'd be great.
They're-
We wouldn't have to spend any money. on it, so.
They're a nonprofit also, so, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So if we're not spending any money on it, are we still bringing the program?
I
I'm
think,
just curious about.
I think because you're effectuating it,
Okay.
and and like sponsoring it really.
Okay.
And then we could push it out media wise and so forth. Yeah, I think it's like sponsored by.
I think it's a good thing to be a part of.
Oh, no, absolutely. I was just curious.
Yeah.
about, sort of the logistics of it all.
Yeah, no, I think it's just like we do the promotion, or
Right.
we're the ones helping to bring it to Upton. So
Right.
I would say it would be like
Sort
sponsored.
of facilitating it.
Yeah,
And I would love
So.
if they would submit some sort of grant to have maybe even a different program, but I'm thinking ahead of myself.
No, but that's.
Submit a grant for next year so that,
Right.
there is something that we can vote on and
Yeah.
really be a part of, so.
yeah, that sounds cool.
So a collaboration with the Friends of the Upton State Forest, and there's even, we could bring forth to them the new Mass Cultural, I wonder if they qualify under the STEM grants. I mean, we could also let them know about that, is what I'm saying, but
Okay,
the
yeah,
collaboration for now, and let them know we just received, the last email that updates we got, they had the new program for this year. It's a STEM project as well.
Is
Funding
that
for,
through Mass Cultural? Lynn?
yes, it is.
It's
Yes, it
part
is.
of one of the tenants of.
So it's a separate grant.
It's a type of grant. There's other grants always
that's
available and upcoming, and we
No,
get
I-
them in the mailing list.
Oh,
So it's a separate grant that we can direct people
It's a
to.
separate grant we can make them aware of, just like we
Right,
always make the
exactly.
schools
Oh.
aware of
Yeah, direct people
the
towards,
grants, but I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
So this is,
sharing.
this is all through Mass Cultural Council, this multiple grants?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
yes,
I didn't know
You know, for like festival grants.
Uh-huh.
The other one is, you know, municipalities can create a historic district or a cultural district, excuse me, a cultural district. And, you know, now I don't know what the process is. My hometown in Westfield just got that designation. They have a cultural district in Westfield. So,
yeah,
so it's a, what's that?
It ties in nicely to the next topic on the.
Yeah,
agenda.
so when you know, I direct people to that a lot, you know, like just randomly, like, oh, you know, you should check this out. Because they have, you know, there's all these kind of things available. I think it's just a matter of like putting together the proposal, you know. Okay.
Speaking of which, I went to the select board meeting last Tuesday.
Yeah.
yes, you
And
did.
the rest, I heard you downstairs. Well, anyways, yeah, I'm surprised the recreation director, I gave her our cultural council card. They need grant money for some of their programs, and what they do dovetails with what we do. So I gave her our cultural council card and said, apply for these,
Yeah.
apply. Because they need money. I don't know.
They, so I have a comment on that.
Okay.
I need to make this comment, and I'll feel better
Okay.
afterwards. We have sponsored their concerts in the past. I think the catch-22, the difference between recreation and us is that, and being the past treasurer, I had to be strict with this. If we sponsor a concert and the performer does not perform for whatever reason, we're not paying for that performance. They need to reschedule. That's not quite
Right.
the way it works somehow with recreation. They've also been told of many other grants I have sent. So I appreciate it, Marie, that you are
Oh.
following up as well, because we have followed up with them. We could partner with them. And in fact, this new STEM grant would be something that would be right in their wheelhouse,
Yeah.
because that's part of the kids in play, not camp whole program there. So, but thanks, I had to get that off my chest.
Well, that gives it the right color.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it that they are applying for grants. So, okay, there's history.
Yeah, no, we haven't had, you know, a lot of, you know, we make a lot of suggestions about it and that we don't get a whole lot of follow through on some of it, I'm not sure why, but like you said, like if they cancel a performance, we're not gonna pay for it. And I think that past, there was a sense of like, oh, we'll just keep the money, right? Don't you think? That was like, oh, it's just like,
Yeah.
we can't, but we've been granted this money, so we'll just, we're like, no, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
No,
I
that's
think
not
that they
happening.
also have applied for some that we didn't grant because it was
Yeah.
for like kids that play, for example, and like just
Right.
kids that play. And I don't know,
So
maybe that
yeah,
discouraged
yeah.
them from applying more. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, when,
It's like-
I think we only did that once for one thing. I think it was a juggler that the performance was, or we did pay for the juggler, didn't we? But the performance was
one.
just for that that event. It wasn't open to the
Yeah.
public as
Oh,
well.
Right.
did we fund that? I thought we didn't. You could be
No, I
right.
think-
At one
funded it.
time we did and then we didn't.
Yeah.
I think we
One time, then we
funded, I think we
decided not
funded a
to.
summer concert series. I
Because
think
they're
that
for
was it.
profit.
Juggler, we didn't, because it said it's only for the kids that are going to camp, so.
Plus,
know,
the
we-
kids that are going to camp are paying to go to camp.
Right, if it were a
So why are
different,
we giving
we're,
them a
um,
free event to,
It- Right.
no, that
it's open to
doesn't.
the public. Yeah,
Right.
it
If
wasn't,
we did fund it, I
the-
think it was during COVID when we had a ton of money.
Yes, we did. That's
maybe
right.
that's it, I just don't remember us, I just remember us saying no, because of that issue, it wasn't,
So they
it
need
wasn't
to-
open to the public, so.
So they need to
Plus,
get their
there's always,
house in order before they.
Yeah, I mean,
there's
Or-
always the
that's
factor
something
that
we
they
can actually,
can
Well, the problem
have
with
their
those-
performer apply.
Weather too.
yeah, but you reschedule it.
Yeah, prior to reschedule.
Yeah,
It's-
okay.
it's not available.
All right, anything else on
Yeah.
that?
That's what.
That's a bunch around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so next we have the Upton Arts and Cultural Collaborative, the UACC. You know, this is, you know, I'm sure everybody already knows, but this is the former Holy Angels Church that's owned by the town. And, you know, as you know, there's a, you know, nonprofit, people are coming together to create a nonprofit, a 501c3 organization to, you know, find a way to renovate and utilize the church for, as an art center. So both three of us, Marie, Kate, and I all went to the Zoom meeting that was on June 12th, last week. So, yes. So, I mean, I can just kind of briefly recap it. Do you want me to?
Yeah.
I'd like to hear about it, yeah.
So it was still a little bit on the organizational part. So Matt Fear, who is he at Nipmuc? He's at Nipmuc. So he is, you know, kind of the spearheading this, you know, this nonprofit setup. And at this point, you know, they're kind of gathering the, you know, information that they need to apply for a 501c3 and also to start putting a board together, because that's what you need in order to have an application in. So there was some discussion about, you know, kind of some informal slots that were being filled, you know, putting people on the board. And, you know, I don't know if I said at the meeting, I said, you know, I'd be, you know, part of it is like we're there in a couple hats, you know, as citizens, but also as members of the cultural council. And, you know, we didn't really get into that kind of level of detail at this point, but it's obviously something that it would be great, you know, to either partner with or a place to have more events and programming that would make it probably a lot easier too for applicants, you know, if you just have like a dedicated arts center. So, you know, I personally, like, I know they're looking for someone legal on the board, but I'm not a nonprofit. That's not my area of expertise. You know, I did say I can try to look around for someone that might be able to serve on the board in a legal capacity who has that kind of experience. So a lot of it was a little bit organizational, and there's kind of a lot of good ideas, you know, carving out the space for art classes, for performance, for, you know, like a stories from the stage type of thing. So I do think there's still, like, just my 2 cents, I still think there's a lot of questions about how you're going to fund it. And because the place needs to be renovated. I don't think there's any question about that. You know, no matter how okay shape it's in, because the town used it a while back while the renovations were going on to town hall. I mean, it's an old building and it's probably going to need some work, and God forbid, there's probably asbestos in it. I don't know, but but there's going to be that. But also, I definitely have some questions about how it's going to be staffed and funded in the future, because it's a nonprofit, you know, they'd probably be able to do like a long-term lease on the building with the town for like a very, you know, minimal amount, you know, under fair market value.
Like the
But I
story.
just have a lot of questions about how it's going, you know, how are you going to pay someone to run it, you know, entirely on donations? I mean, you know, they're going to probably need a grant writer. That's, you know, somebody who can do that kind of work on either a part-time or full-time basis. Grant writing on a part-time is hard to do, I think. So does that kind of sum it up?
Yeah, they're looking for a treasurer also.
Yeah,
First and foremost. Yeah, definitely not ready for that. But yeah.
yeah.
And an architect, that's one of their
Oh.
next big steps is finding an architect to go in there and kind of determine what does need to be done so that they can put a budget together so they can go out and start thinking about, okay, we need this much money to open the doors. Yeah,
Mhm.
so.
Do you feel like they've got a well thought out plan, or are they really just in the initial stages of this is a dream that we have and what are the things we need to do to make it happen?
I think it's a little closer, it's a little further away from a dream.
Okay.
Brett Seamus,
Yeah.
he's wholeheartedly behind making this happen, so he's a proponent
on that board, it's like-
he's a proponent, of the project,
Yeah.
and he comes to a lot of the meetings, the Zoom meetings, and, yeah.
Yeah, what is the position in the select board? Wasn't there a meeting
Can I-
with there? Yeah, can you go ahead, Lynn? I don't know where the town
So,
is. on this.
the status is that they're gonna do a new, this whole started with, the selectman, the town manager asking for, not requests for proposals, but for ideas of what to do with Holy Angels, to bring them ideas for a private-public partnership. So this is
Mhm.
how this evolved. They are doing, the outside of the buildings, getting some renovations. They ran into a snag with, the paint because that's where your asbestos comes in. The, when they're doing the painting, they ran into asbestos, so that has to be treated a different way. In the last, selectmen's meeting, I got there late because I left from trust funds that was in the building, unfortunately. Marie, didn't they mention, I thought they have a budget for the selectmen. They're gonna have an architect go in and do an updated evaluation of the building, because they did one, I think I sent it out to all of you, the last structural analysis. I sent you
Yes.
all a link. So now
Good.
they're gonna go in and look at some more features with it. Myself, I just, so that's how the selectmen view it. And what's come up from time to time is that there's the issue of parking, because what we call the arcade building where Pedal and Crumb is located, and the hairdresser shop, the owners of that building own behind the building and beside, and so the only parking, and it's not legal parking, is that little down driveway that you see to the side. So they'd have to
Yeah.
figure out parking. And then when you bring in the roundabout, that takes away the front parking. So the best way, in my opinion, and others have mentioned this as well, if they're going to renovate that building, they, even when it was sold to someone else, they need a parking garage in order to make that possible. And, there's definitely accessibility features, like the ramp that was there in the past was to, never to code. It never fit into 521 CMR, Mass Building Code. So, there's some things, I mean, it's doable, you can rentable, and it's renovations wise. And I've been sending Matt information, and I brought it up at selectmen's meetings, like if we could be a cultural district, it's in the historic district. There's a lot of different moving parts could make it happen. And I think that the nonprofit, there's ways they could go as well for, like grants. There was a new one that came out for, oh, I forget what it was. It was, for poets. And then there's another one, a bunch of different grants through Mass Cultural that would affect how their programming went in the building. So it's a lot of moving parts, but it's a good possibility, you know, so that's what I know.
Mhm.
It's kind of let's see how it goes. He's pulling together a lot of people,
Mhm.
but yeah, kind of new at a lot of this.
I'd be
Excited?
interested, yeah, to see what comes of
Yes.
it. I'm not like ready to be part of it. You know, I'm not like I'm not going to sign up to be secretary, treasurer, things like that. But I'd be interested to see where it goes. I always wonder like if the enthusiasm matches the potential, or the potential matches the enthusiasm. And you know, it also makes me nervous, you know, with this administration, you know, how much money is going to be available for the arts, or how much,
True.
not even necessarily funding, but how much enthusiasm is going to be there to fund the arts. I don't, you know, there could be a lot, but yeah, but I do think, I mean, as much as I wish something would happen with Holy Angels, I think it's going to be a long, hard,
I think it's gonna take a couple of
project.
years.
It's going to take a couple of years.
Realistic
Yeah.
about that.
I mean, I
And
think you're looking at a couple of years at least. It's not,
Yeah, he said.
yeah,
Yeah.
Meeting.
Yeah, I mean, you
Good.
know, and I agree. I think they're pretty
Tomorrow.
realistic about it.
Yeah. Good.
You know, I think
Good.
it's hard. It's you know, we're a town of 8,000 people. You know, Hopkinton has a Center for the Arts, but Hopkinton's much larger.
Mhm.
And it's got a much bigger tax base,
Yeah.
EMC.
Yeah.
So that, and they're still out fundraising too. So,
Mhm.
so I just wonder if it's feasible. You probably, I mean, it's a, you know, a nonprofit, you're probably you're gonna need someone to run it and pay them. This can't be all volunteer positions in this kind of thing. So that's kind of where it gives me pause a little bit, is like, well, where's the funding gonna come from? When we're a town this size. But I thought one thing I did think was interesting was Matt had mentioned in the town of Berlin, there's
19 Carter.
19 Carter, yeah. So
Yeah.
they've managed to renovate a building. I've never seen it. I've only been to that town maybe once on a case that I had.
Better parking. They
Yeah.
have proper.
Yeah,
Church
19 Carter. I have to look it up on online. But that's a pretty small town. So they managed to like, you know, make a go of something. So that's kind of, you know, where I just wonder if it's going to be feasible. But that said, you know, if it's something that goes forward, you know, be great partnership for the Cultural Council, because they could apply for grants, you know, they can always just apply, and it'd be a great central location to, you know, to have a lot of programming. But yeah, I think it's a couple of years off. And there's some big challenges, you know, just with the physical building.
That's an architect. An architect.
Yeah.
Can,
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're facing some challenges as far as like you know, like priorities and capital improvements just in the town as well. I mean, we need a DPW, and that's under study. We need to properly house the equipment so we don't get fined that we have. I mean, I can tell you from experience working in the trailer, it's a better trailer than it used to be. It would be very nice if the guys didn't have to, if the administration, you know, Dennis, Bill, and they do need another person, didn't have to work out of that trailer. Because I'll tell you, when it gets hot, it gets hot. When it gets cold, plus they should have a real office, not
Real office. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
I mean,
Great. Yeah.
I was grateful when they got the new trailer. It's an old Toll Brothers trailer, but it's still, it's a trailer, you know?
Yeah.
So,
It's a temporary building, you know, and I agree. I
Yeah.
think
for a
should
lot
have-
of years.
I
So,
think there's a roof on Nipmuc or something too, but so I think one of the schools needs a new roof, doesn't it?
yeah, I'm
Is it-
gonna get it, Nipmunk needs a new roof, so then they'll need a whole new, HVAC system to go, so we're all, I don't know, there's warrant articles put
Yeah.
together.
Yeah,
So,
I know. It's like, it's that kind of stuff. It just, you know, it's constant maintenance. So So,
Yeah.
yeah, so, you know, to be honest, I'm a little skeptical if it's gonna happen, but it'd be nice to do something with that building. Because it's just gonna sit there and rot, you know, if it's not used, you know, over time, so.
Yeah,
And I don't know what could go in the place of it, so.
Is that the only building that they're considering? About the old Milton Christine.
Oh, yeah, that building has its challenges too, and I know that, I think Lynn and I have talked about this, that I think it's been put out for proposals to renovate it, and there's been no takers, right, Lynn?
Yeah.
Well, for the private-public partnerships, no takers, but, so Linda Gay is, gonna be using the bottom half, the open space, the bottom half of the Racine building to do, an inventory of, I think she put in a grant for it, the shoes and not all the shoemaking. She's gonna
Yeah.
be doing the work in there. But the other thing is that we have run out of meeting space. When we go back to meet in everybody meeting together, you know, like in person, we're gonna have a problem because we don't really have the meeting space in the community center. There's like one conference room in there. It's very small. It's smaller than the room you're in right now. And so the discussion has been that the Racine could be used for meeting space.
You'll
And-
tell her.
And they are doing, you know, like they just painted it and did some repairs to the outside. There's going to be more repairs that go on so that the, you know, like in the landscaping, so the building doesn't get compromised some more. So they are working towards all of that. So, you know, that's to the positive. I think they lose a little bit when they do the reconfiguration for the MassDOT project with the roundabout. I think that cuts back some of that curve. But the other thing I've heard them toss around is that the open space beside the Racine building could be additional parking, the grassy area. And really, we kind of need parking, you know, especially if you did anything more with, you know, with Holy Angels or that area, there's no parking. I mean, I don't know what to say, but yeah, so that's what I know so far.
Yeah, that's just, yeah, it's definitely kind of challenging in that space. No.
Yeah.
I don't know what you do though. Hey, but this is off topic, but what about, have you heard about anything going on with the old Harvey Trask property up on Menden Street near St. Gabriel's?
The only thing I do know is that I know the selectmen, Laura, have the chair. She's been pushing to make sure to get that like cut the property cut down so that it doesn't get so overgrown. You know, so that we can have it for soccer fields and this and that.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard of I'm a little bit surprised. I recommended to Recreation that they applied for the they know about the PAR grant, it's PARC grant, and that's the grant that it's a state grant for rehabilitation and for making fields and all of that. So I was surprised, but I haven't heard anything. They're gonna have, they want to do lights at Leland Field, so nothing to do with Trask, and they have to the softball field, the retaining wall's falling down, so that's a warrant article.
Nipmuc or the one where it's
the softball field down at Kiwanis. So nothing with Harvey Trask that I've heard.
Right, yeah, you're talking about.
But the only good thing, one thing on the Harvey Trask plan is that we just received 1.5 million in a trust awarded Harvey Julian Trask awarded that to the town, and we accepted it at the November town meeting. So there is that trust, and there's 200 and, I think it's 250,000 that went directly to the selectmen that can be, it's a beautification amount of money. So that's
Wow.
good. The 1.5 is a non-expendable for now, that the accruable interest will go into eventually an expendable, if that makes sense. So
Yeah,
that's good news.
that is good, because those buildings, that, at his former law office and house, like, they're just kind of sitting there too. So, which is, I don't know what's gonna
There's a
happen.
long time in probate, and now that's been
Yeah.
cleared, and,
Yeah.
very fortunate. I mean, he gave us all that land plus the money. I mean,
Mhm.
hey,
Mhm.
it's wonderful.
Yeah, I know, that piece of land, I want to get too off topic, but that piece of land is like, so, I used to drive that way to work every day, and it was always, I would see animals in it all the time,
Yeah.
and deer and pheasants, and, and it's like, oh, I'd hate to see, in a way, you hate to see it paved over in a way, but, there's definitely some use, like towns, athletic fields and so forth, there's a lot of need out there for more land and buildings. And I mean land to make use of, not to have preserved, 'cause
Yeah.
I think, but anyway,
Passive
but it's like,
recreation.
yeah, so I just wonder if we, if there's any, like, has been any talk of converting any of that property into something, but yeah. All right. So anything else we need to discuss? I got a couple of things to think about in terms of. Anything else? I think we're gonna wrap up.
No.
So, okay, so we have little bits of homework to do. Next meeting, I was gonna propose March 18th. It's, a month from today. That works.
6 or 7?
I prefer 6. I don't know if anybody else, we've talked about doing 6.
6 is.
Yeah, I like 6 because I can roll right from, I'm not like settling in for the night. All right, 6 p.m., March 18th. March already, jeez. Still not warm enough. All right. Well, I guess we can't vote to adjourn. We're just gonna have to adjourn.